how nice. There we go. Ooh, it's a hog too.
Yep, starting to mark fish.
Got it. Woohoo, he came out.
Let's go!
Oh, it's a drone.
Welcome to Beard Zero Fishing.
Welcome to another episode of Beard Zero Fishing. Thank you so much for tuning in today, friends. It's greatly appreciated. Now, today, I will be discussing how you detect a strike. While you're fishing, you have your rig, you have your setup, you're fishing, especially soft plastics. Crankbaits are a little easier to detect a strike. Usually when you're cranking them in and something stops your lure or you bump against something, usually it's a fish and you set the hook and call it a day. But when you're using soft plastics, it's not always so straightforward. Sometimes the bites are very subtle, sometimes they are very obvious and the fish just kind of takes off with them. But either way, there are several different types of bites, and to understand that the fish pick your lure up in different ways is extremely important to fishing. So we'll talk about the most straightforward type of strike, when they just grab it and take off running with it. When they grab it and take off running with it, that's one of the most obvious signs that you have a fish on the line. And you set the hook and you go about your fight. Now, let's say it's not so obvious. Let's say you're doing your retrieve with a soft plastic lure, and let's say something stops your lure. Does that always mean it's a strike? No, it does not. Many times it's just a rock or weeds that you're dragging your lure through, but as you start to lift your rod tip and you feel anything stop it, just pause for a second. Just a simple pause will give you enough time to allow the fish to identify itself to you. Whether the fish then decides to start moving, you start seeing the line move to one side or the other, or the rod tip starts to have some type of action in it. Now, those are the most common types of strikes that you get. You also have the strikes where they seem to hit it and they hit it like a whole bunch. That you can usually identify as not being a bass. Usually when they pick it up, they grab it and that's about the end of it. Now whether they take off with it immediately or whether they just kind of sit there for a minute, that all depends. But as far as bass, usually they don't hit and go bing, 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 where you feel it on the line, where you feel like 1,000 bites per minute. Those are usually panfish, those can be gar, those can be several things, but usually they're not bass. And for our purposes, they're usually going to be a fish that you don't generally catch. But that doesn't mean that you can't, so always try. Now on my next episode coming up, I'll be talking in depth about how you set the hook. Once you've determined that you had a strike, how you set the hook to increase your hookup rates. So that way you too can improve your hookup ratio. Increased hookups definitely help your fishing. Many people can get a lot of strikes, it's just landing them. It's setting the hook and landing them is the issue. So in my next episode, I will be talking about how to set the hook, what all you need to do while you're setting the hook. There are certain steps. It's not just simple and set the hook instantly as soon as the fish bites. But anyways, that'll be for next time. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, wishing you guys tight lines and calm waters, and I'll catch you next time.